What is up, YouTube? Third Impact here with another Tokyo Ghoul review. This week's Tokyo Ghoul episode 3. And after Kaneki's initial descent into ghouldom and running into his first ghoul and his first bloody battle, we're given a bit of a slower episode where we're more introduced to ghoul culture and how they live their everyday lives once they're, settled into becoming ghouls and okay with that sort of thing. Which also means there's a lot less whining this episode, something I definitely appreciated. But before we get into Kaneki specifically, the opening scene is of Jason, the S-class ghoul we saw in the first episode, barging into this medical area of some sort where this new character, this young ghoul girl, Hinami, and his family live. He barges in, and apparently this happens often, and Hinami's dad is the one that creates Jason's weapon. So, kind of a weird thing about the ghouls there that we haven't really touched on very much. Really, how the ghouls work beyond just the old man and Toka and the random wild ones that we see all over the place. There's obviously some more organization going on beyond just that. The other thing that we see throughout this episode are the doves, or the ghoul investigation sort of force, where we see the crazy looking guy with white hair and the more clean cut looking guy with short black hair. They're going around investigating the ghouls after the incident in the two S classes mercilessly. Well, I guess not too mercilessly, because they were initially attacked by one ghoul and they cut him down really fast, asking questions, killing these ghouls without remorse. And then they come across two other ones, which seem quite a bit more innocent, attack them, leave one alive, even though we think at first that maybe they just screwed up, but then they're using the injured ghoul to follow him when he goes to talk to or alert other ghouls, and then wiping them out too and trying to get info from them. So these guys are completely ruthless, like how we see at the beginning of the episode where these guys are sort of taught, ghouls are nothing more than cattle or livestock. They're actually worse than that because they don't serve a greater function. All they do is eat humans. So we kind of get that extreme side, but now that we've been seeing the ghouls from a more human side, we get that opposition. So where it'd be like, oh yeah, these murderous, crazy ghouls who kill human beings regularly, they must be stopped, obviously. But now we see that there's these two ruthless agents that could possibly be killing our good ghouls who act pretty nice for the most part and don't kill innocents from what we can tell. There's like a lot higher stakes when it comes to this sort of stuff, and we're sort of on the side of the ghouls now, at least with Kaneki being half. We see the old man teaching him how to brew coffee properly, and that, it's something that takes time. The more time and effort you put into it, the better the coffee will be. We also see them sheltering Hinami and her mother after they've been attacked by Jason. They're now at the coffee shop at their location, and they're being looked after and tended to. And at one point, Kaneki actually catches, by accident, Hinami eating a meal, which is completely censored, of course. We don't see how grotesque this looks to Kaneki, but he's obviously taken aback by this. Do you think he would know? You think it'd be like, I'm a ghoul and I'm living in a ghoul house? There might be ghouls eating. He's seen a bunch of shit at this point, but still, he's taken aback. He makes her feel bad, but he makes it up to her by going and apologizing and finding out that she's actually very bright and reads some very high-level books, and Kaneki, being the reader that he is, luckily has something that he can talk to this girl with, or about, and talks to her about the books that he likes. So that was really sweet. Good for Kaneki, and it'll be interesting to see what this new character does. Ghoul Lolly, I hope, does more than just be a Ghoul Lolly that's around. That'd be nice. On top of that, we also learn... What else do we learn about ghoul culture? Kaneki is taken out by Toka to go get a mask made for him. Apparently this is a thing that ghouls often do to hide their identity, especially at night. And Toka's saying that with these doves on the loose, these ghoul investigators going around attacking ghouls, you don't want them to be able to get your face or be able to identify you. And it's kind of confusing. I'm not quite sure if the wearing a freaky mask really, like, makes you less of a target or more of a target, but I guess it hides your face and your identity for when you're a human. So if they meet at night and there's some sort of like altercation, during the day they won't be able to spot Kaneki. And the owner of this mask shop is also a ghoul. And oh, one last thing, we also meet another ghoul with white hair who works with the old man and Toka, and he goes and Kaneki is sent by the old man out with this guy to go collect meat, and here Kaneki learns how the people, or the ghouls I should say, who don't eat innocent people get their flesh, and it's through suicide jumpers. So Kaneki falls off, his tendrils activate, and he saves himself from the fall. And then the other ghoul jumps down. Kaneki doesn't collect the meat, he's too afraid, and this guy says a prayer and collects it. So that's kind of neat. I like this explanation as to how these ghouls who don't eat innocent people choose to live and survive. They eat suicide victims, people that are already dead. So really, looking at it this way, if these nice ghouls, like the old man and Toka, just live their everyday lives, only eat the flesh of people who have killed themselves in suicide, and they never hurt people, then sure. All of this stuff that this Ghoul investigation force has been talking about, how they're all ruthless, how they need to be exterminated, not true. They are innocent, and as long as I say as far as I can tell, if they haven't eaten any innocent people, I don't see a reason for them to be targeted or taken out. So it's really adding a level of humanity to these ghouls and really making them out to be like innocents. They shouldn't be taken out. They haven't done anything wrong, at least as far as we can see. And finally, in this episode, at the very end of the episode, we are shown this snazzy-looking guy in a red suit come into the coffee place. And this guy, too, it's like, there's a big build-up for this guy, and it pretty much just ends with you being like, so, this guy, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? He's apparently a big deal. I'm supposed to be like, maybe if I've read the manga. But pretty much it's like, oh my god, this guy came into the coffee shop. He's such a big deal. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does next episode. If the episode starts off with him just tearing shit up in the coffee shop, that would be pretty cool, pretty shocking. But we don't know if this guy's good or bad. So beyond, like, we got introduced to some really cool ghoul culture stuff this episode. In my opinion, we get to see how Kaneki lives his everyday life, and we got to see 3 new characters, I'd say. The one who Kaneki goes to collect the bodies with, the owner of the mask shop, and this red suit guy who comes in at the very end of the episode. So combined with the 2 ghoul investigators, I'd say we have quite a diverse cast of characters now at this point that we can work with. Probably not going to be introducing too many more for a while now. I feel like they have a lot to work with. So that's really cool. And just, yeah, overall, this episode really impressed me with how they've continued to expand on how this version of Tokyo works, how the ghouls work. It's all very cool, very interesting stuff, and I can't wait for episode 4. Hope you guys liked. If you did like the little clicky thing, comment, subscribe, and please stay tuned for more vids. Peace out.